We have created our own sustainability framework to ensure that we cater to our vision objectives. And what we've done is we have broken it into 4 key pillars. The first pillar would be digital inclusion. Second pillar, climate action, that is environmental stewardship. The third pillar being the community investments or community stewardship. Then the very important pillar, the governance pillar. Dialog Axiata PLC, as you may know, we cater to about 17 million customer base or rather Sri Lankans. We provide mainly technology-based solutions for the betterment of the country with the vision of empowering Sri Lankan lives and enterprises. Keeping this in mind, what we have done is we have created our own sustainability framework to ensure that we cater to our vision objectives. And to do so, we have, for the ease of doing our work and to put structure behind it, what we've done is we have broken it into 4 key pillars. 4 of these do also fall into the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, so that we align to the global agenda as well. So the first pillar would be digital inclusion, where we look at bringing in our technology to support communities, mostly I would say marginalized communities, so that how we can improve their day-to-day life, to bring in better quality to their lives. Then our second pillar comes into climate action, that is environmental stewardship, where we support SDG 13. So under this pillar, we are very seriously following on reducing our GHG emissions. Our target is to go net zero by 2050 and to reduce our emissions by 45% by 2030. So the company is fully geared towards that, and we are in a journey to transform our network, the energy usage, etc., going into renewable, and we are using few other techniques to bring down the energy cost. The third pillar being the community investments or community stewardship. Some call it CSR, but we would like to refrain from calling it CSR, because what we do is when we invest in a community project, we try to build in a sustainability model where the project becomes self-sustained. So under this community investment pillar, actually most of the main projects operate under the Dialog Foundation. Education, hearing, sight and speech, and disaster risk reduction falls as our main 3 focus areas. Then the very important pillar that Dialog puts a lot of effort and emphasizes on it is the governance pillar. Now, this is where we do our annual reporting on our sustainability activities. Then we also use our reporting frameworks like SASB, Sustainable Accountant Standard Board's ESG related KPIs, what we follow. Dialog was the first company in South Asia to adopt this standard, the telecommunication company. And similarly, GSMA standards, again, Dialog was the first in South Asia, the telco, to add it. So likewise, and then we have our ISO 27100 data privacy related standards and all that. And most importantly, we report to our board risk and compliance committee on a quarterly basis. So this is an opportunity given to us to highlight ESG related activities and any risks that we face, all that directly to the board members. So these are the 4 main pillars which we use to structure our sustainability related activities and to continue the one that we do in a very structured way and to put the science behind it. You can take our Govimitru product as one of the key digital inclusion products taken to market. Now here we target the farming community and they are generally marginalized communities, we would say, or the bottom of the pyramid base. So what we have done is we have brought in our technology as a platform, as a carrier, to take agri extension content. So the idea behind that was the farmers get timely information to their hand, therefore they can engage in good agriculture practices and thereby reduce their cost, improve efficiency in their farming activities to increase the yield. So happy to say that with this product or the service that we offer, we have 1.2 million farmers registered right now. So that's between about 55% of the farming community in Sri Lanka. So out of this 55% of the farming community who are registered in the service, the majority had said that their yield increased by about 30%. And then we also look at persons with disabilities, like with products such as DefTalk, where we have brought in sign language interpreters so that people with hearing difficulties can converse with signing and all that. They can go to a hospital, talk to a doctor using the service without a problem, go to the police station, get their day-to-day activities done. So start with, we have actually implemented DefTalk in all our customer outlets so that people can come and get their products and services. And then in terms of improving accessibility, now Dialog, we converted our website to be PWD friendly. So people with mobility issues, people with ADH and problems like that can actually now come and log into our website and get all the services, information about products and things like that, and what's available from the website. So that is how we look at the making people digitally inclusive so that they benefit in their day-to-day lives. And 2003 to date, we've invested over 1 billion Sri Lankan rupees in various activities. So mainly the Nanasa ecosystem. We started off with the Dialog Merit Scholarships in 2003, which is still running for more than 20 years now. And then Nanasa Television, Nanasa Smart Schools, then Nanasa mobile app, Nanasa.lk. All of these platforms came into play, especially during the time of the pandemic. These were some of the tools that we used to take education and to reduce the gap and make sure that everybody gets a good chance of accessing quality education. We try to work with partners. So the Education Ministry is one such partner. And I think one of the successful public-private partnerships that had existed since 2003, and it's going strong. And we have been implementing many projects under that. And how these projects have come into play, if I am to take the Nanasa Smart School initiative specifically. Now, we did this in 2017. And the idea was to upskill the teachers because there were so many schools with a lot of hardware, but teachers, for whatever the reason, couldn't use it and were not able to make the maximum use out of it. So what we did was we enabled the teacher to teach with technology, we call it. And therefore the schools, we went into this ambassador program where we trained 2 teachers from selected schools. And then they had to go back and train the other teachers. So likewise, we multiplied the effect. So the key part was we did the project for 2 years, 1 year serious trainings, etc., and then giving them KPIs, another year to do hand holding. And then the idea was after 2 years for us to move out and the school to continue. In 2017, when we started, and 2019, when we ended the program, the pandemic came in. In 2020, when we did a survey just to see how these teachers are doing, 82% of these teachers reported saying the program was very useful in them getting into online teaching. And the children were able to adapt easily. So that is the sustainability component. Then women. So Echelon.lk is another platform where it addresses multiple problems that women could face. And we have, again, a set of experts advising on health-related matters, legal matters, any other problem that they may face, how they can go and get help. So that is kind of thing. And the most important thing is this platform, you can remain anonymous. You don't have to give your name and details. The idea behind that is to make sure that people actually do come forward, because when we did surveys, what we found was a lot of people were not willing to come out and speak in public about their issues because of the stigma, social stigma involved in it, around it. So this is the kind of barrier that we wanted to break. So these projects, they come into play. Disaster risk reduction, again, Dune is one such initiative. From 2009 we've been working with the government, the Disaster Management Center, for early warning and to reduce the risk of disasters. And more or less everybody has a handset, right? So it's just a matter of getting the message across, and people can download the app, they can use it. So to date, the first responders are put on alert through the Dune system, then the general public. So that's how that piece works. I would like to highlight three main activities that we embarked on during the last 2 to 3 year time period in terms of reducing our GHG emissions, because we are committed to the SBTIs through our parent company, which is Axiata in Malaysia. And we have a target that we want to achieve, that is 45% GHG emission reduction by 2030 and going to net zero by 2050. Now, in terms of the network, we have, like, even before the economic crisis in the country, we've invested in solarizing about 1,168 towers that Dialog owns and operates out of the 4,000 plus towers we have. And then another activity we engage on was, we call it the indoor-outdoor conversion. Because when all of these devices are housed in-house, you need to have your air conditioners running to maintain cooling. So what we did was we strategically looked at what can be taken outside and thereby reduce the energy usage. So we have got significant reductions by doing so. Then we also used AI and data analytics to optimize our network. That is, like, when the networks are not fully utilized, to reduce the number of towers that's in operation, to manage your energy. So thereby also we have managed to reduce our GHG emissions. So these are three activities that we do in line with our carbon footprint reduction program, so that we also stay aligned to the 13th SDG, which is climate action. Likewise, and of course, we at any given time, we try to engage our customers also to do certain activities with us, like our group service delivery team. They engage with their customers to have various tree planting programs, etc. Now, this is mainly to get the practice going. More than creating a huge impact, it's a practice to send out the message. So we do that kind of activities also under the environment pillar. So then moving on to our community investments, Dialog had always stepped in at times of need when the country needed a national level activity to go on. So such examples would be that the 2 ICUs we built during the pandemic. So when we did that, again, it was not purely just doing 2 ICUs. We actually thought beyond the COVID pandemic requirement, where we looked at, when we decided, okay, the Negombo Hospital and the Homagama Hospital would get 2 ICUs. Before finalizing that decision, we looked at, okay, what's going to be the requirement post-pandemic? So that we looked at, okay, the catchment area, how many people are living around there, what kind of value will be brought into the community. So for example, Negombo Hospital having ICUs will upgrade the value of the airport, because the access to a person to a ICU coming through the airport. So likewise. Then Homagama, when we developed, we looked at, okay, how can people come? So it's in the center of all the highways, so people from south or the west or any other place can easily come in. So that there. So we built 2 state-of-the-art ICUs with things like negative pressure and things like that, where the doctors could also monitor the patient conditions from their home itself. So we brought in a lot of technology. We made that investment, but we are happy to say today, post-pandemic, it's still in operation and it's giving the same result what we wanted it to do so. So that's the kind of activities that we engage on. And then coming to a more recent problem we solved, it's a bit of social innovation as well as digital inclusion combination, which is the National Fuel Pass. We tied up with the government and IT solution providers, and we brought in the solution which solved a bigger problem in the country immediately, and we saw immediate results. So this is what technology can do in terms of solving problems. So these are some of the interventions of Dialog. And then another important activity, which is the Ratmalana Audiology Center, which Dialog set up in 2007. Now, this is been built adjacent to the Ratmalana Deaf and Blind School. The model is, we have created a social model there where people from outside with hearing difficulties would come, get their services from the Ratmalana Audiology Center, and that in turn will subsidize services that is provided to the children at the deaf and blind school. So they get their services free of charge, like their hearing test, etc. Everything is done. Then speech therapy, it's given free of charge. Apart from that, this team at Ratmalana Audiology Center, on an annual basis, they do scan about 1,000 newborn babies for potential hearing difficulties. So the idea behind that is early detection and intervention can help these children live a near normal life. And here too, we look at bringing in technology, and Ratmalana Audiology Center is a center of excellence where we have brought it in so that these children get the best service. Then just before the pandemic, we opened up a similar unit in Jaffna. Now there was a problem back in 2020 where we found that there weren't many Tamil speaking speech therapists. So similarly in the Nuffield school, we went to their premises, opened up a speech therapy center which is known as a Jaffna Speech Therapy Center at Nuffield School in Kaitadi, where they train speech therapists in Tamil, so that the entire peninsula can be catered to. So these are areas, otherwise they didn't have enough speech. Not that they did, but not enough. So now these children are getting a better service, especially in their own mother tongue, where they can communicate and get it. So these are the kind of social models that we work on and we invest in. And we have also looked at the continuity of it. It's not just stopping. So Ratmalana Audiology Center, from 2007 to now, it's operating without a problem. And whenever they have a requirement, we always support. And it's managed jointly by Dialog and a management committee appointed by the Ceylon Church. Looking forward, I think the biggest challenges, I would say, is one is climate change, which all of us are facing. And second is the global energy crisis. And Dialog being a tech-driven company which uses energy heavily, it is going to be a problem to the industry. Dialog being proactive in that sense, we've, as I mentioned earlier, we've proactively looked at changing our energy mix to be more renewable, and we have made investments in those lines. So far, out of the 4,000 plus towers we've converted about 1,168, and we are planning to do more. And our other facilities owned by Dialog itself, we are investing in solarizing and going into more renewable energy. And places where we cannot, because solarization is an expensive investment, we also try to optimize the usage and to reduce, to be energy efficient wherever possible. Going into renewable totally is going to be costly, and there are policies around it as well at a national level. So we need to see changes happening in those. But until such time, making it efficient. The usage of energy, making it efficient is a key. So that is one area that we are focusing on. And other activities, as I mentioned, the indoor-outdoor conversions, optimizing the network, etc. Some of the activities that we are working on, so that industry and other adjacent industries also can see what we are doing and learn, because especially as I mentioned earlier, there is a case where we have actually benefited by going into solarization, both financially. So it gives an opportunity for everyone to look at this and to understand and move forward in those lines. And then, of course, climate change is something that all of us need to work together. We have given the start, we've started working on various aspects, but the entire country should rally around, the entire world should rally around that to tackle the climate change problem. So overall, I would say that Dialog, with all the projects that we do under the sustainability area, and as a company in all the services that we provide, what we want to do is to help the world become a healthier planet, a good place to live, and we want to drive it while holding on to our integrity. And we want to bring in inclusion, we want to bring in innovation, so that we achieve our end goal by embedding all of this into all the decisions we take on a day-to-day basis.